Hello, everyone. In today's episode, we have in front of us Anshuman Dwivedy. Anshuman is my good friend from back in India, from Odisha, and he's studying in University of Galway, as you can see from the virtual background I have given. So I will let him speak more about himself, and then we'll go from there. So, Anshuman, over to you. A brief introduction about where you are from, your education and work experience, and how you ended up in this college.
Thank you, Abhinav, for giving me this opportunity where I can present myself and help the viewers understand how my journey has so far been. So, my name is Anshuman, and I'm currently a master student in business analytics in University of Galway, which was earlier known as National University of Ireland. And speaking of which, I had around 10 years of around work experience in the field of IT, more in the specter of business intelligence. And I used to work for a firm called Wells Fargo. You can see that I'm wearing a t-shirt of that. And earlier I worked as an AVP there, but my profile and my role has mostly in the field of data engineering, again in the field of business intelligence, where I was working mostly in the field of ETL, where I used to mostly contribute in the specter of data design and development and mostly served as a model lead in the firm. Yeah, that's pretty much about me. And before working at Wells Fargo, I have also been associated in companies like Citibank, Barclays, wherein my journey has mostly in the banking and financial services. And so ETL Ab Initio used to be a tool where my career kind of kick-started, and that has been a bread and butter for me. Over the 10 year of my experience, where I've been associated for 9 and 10 years, so you have also, grow in the ladder of the firm. So that's how I kind of attend the field of an AVP in my previous firm. Yeah.
Yeah. For viewers, you can see as Anshuman has a lot of experience before joining masters here, and around 10 years that he mentioned,
Yeah.
he carries a good amount of experience. So Anshuman, before selecting University of Galway as your college, so did you have any other options, and you selected this over that, or how was the case?
Okay, so honestly speaking, coming after like a long experience, so very few people choose to do their masters, and the trend is also changing in India, of course. And the reason why I chose to do my masters was like because of three things. One was that I was kind of getting saturated in the Indian market because I had been knowing the ladder and the knots and bolts, like how you can actually uh, change your zone in the corporate field, and I knew like how my career would look like in the next coming 5 years, which is again not bad because Indian market is very evolving, but again I wanted a change. I wanted to give that break to myself. And secondly, I chose business analytics because I also wanted to somewhere upskill in my career because like in the corporate field, when they want to absorb you in the leadership space, and if they have to introduce in to you to the rest of the team, they always look for something that kind of adds those brownie points.
Yeah.
So someone like me who has just done a normal graduation, I would have still climbed the leadership ladder, but again, having this master's degree, especially from a college which kind of takes top 1% of the people, this definitely adds some value and more kind of a glamour quotient to my CV.
Yeah.
So that was again a factor. And business analytics I chose because I didn't want to deviate much from my career. So people generally tend to cross skill in their career, but I wanted to do some kind of upscaling. So business intelligence was something, a thing of the past as in like in the last 10 years. But business analytics is more like the next level, because business analytics has got to do with data science, data analytics. But again, here you are tend to understand the business aspects of the data what you're dealing with. So this is more like a makeshift what I did in my career, for which I chose University of Galway. And secondly, of course, like before coming to Ireland, because Ireland offers you good rate, and also the universities are at par with the US standards. And lastly, also if you see the Irish universities are also well known for their quality of education, what they provide. And I also wanted to do something at TCD and UCD going by the brand name, but unfortunately, since I was late in my application, University of Galway gave me that opportunity. And yes, this is also one of the prominent colleges in Ireland. And plus, the course business analytics is one of the top rated, and the hashtag one rated course over in Ireland. So yes, this is one of the reasons why I chose here.
Okay. And I generally do not ask this question to others, but since you carry a lot of experience and you have seen more of the professional world than generally people I have interviewed before. So I wanted to ask you if you had any thing in mind before choosing Ireland in particular, because you could have gone anywhere. So even if you
Okay.
stayed in India, you could have gone to US, Canada, anywhere, Australia. But did you have any preference in your mind? You thought something before choosing Ireland, or it was just there are some reasons that people generally prefer, I know, but I want to just hear from your perspective.
Yeah, so ideally, like when I used to work for Barclays, so I had the taste of the European culture, the how the work and the culture of the work and the people working over there is more like. And after the Brexit, UK is still building their economy, and probably they are in their developing or maybe in their evolving stage. So all company headquarters are now primarily focused at Ireland, and Ireland is more like the data center hub of Europe. So looking at the prospects and the coming 5-10 years evaluation, like where I exactly stand, this is the one of the reasons why I chose Ireland. And secondly, it is also the most English is the most widely spoken language here, and that also added to the chance why I chose Ireland over other countries. And speaking of Canada and US again, no doubt US and Canada offer the best quality of education. But again, I wanted to do something in 1 year. And next thing was like, okay, for a person like me who has all the experience, I'm just doing this degree just for an upscaling, also to add that master's degree to my name tag. Considering the prices as well and the alumni and the people that I have known, and again to the culture and the climate where I can fit in, Ireland definitely looked as a more promising area for me.
Yeah. Okay, so going into a little more detail into your course. So you are studying business analytics. I think you are done with 2 semesters. Third
Yes.
semester is still to go. So
Uh-huh.
what were the modules that you studied, and if you could mention something that you really liked that would actually keep it apart from other colleges.
Okay.
Basically on that, yeah.
So, yeah. So one thing what I would like to, tell the viewers is don't just go by the name. Business analytics has got something to do with business area or anything, because this is a very technical course. People often confuse BA as something more to do with, MBA, but very specific on the analytic part. But no, the course had, coding subjects like C sharp, Python, R programming, then statistics where we used SPSS tools. So these are some of the coding or maybe the programming subjects what we had in this both semesters. Apart from that, there were few subjects which were like the introductory part of data science, more like business modeling and analytics. Then we had one subject called decision theory where Tableau was used for visualization, and we had a glance of that as well. And apart from that, there was also a typical course like project management, which I think many of you might have studied, or people like me who are coming from the industry, they can familiarize themselves well with the subject. And few theoretical subjects like ethics, where you understand the ethics on the data point of behavior, like where the data protection acts and everything are there. And then there was another interesting subject called as information systems innovation strategy. So this is more like when you are kind of doing design thinking tomorrow, building a new system, what all points you need to keep in mind. So this is more like a managerial or maybe a management subject, but it is very specific to information systems. So here the module is mostly, divulged for the subject of information systems. And each semester had 6 subjects, and total 12 subjects we had. And the subjects, what I liked as you asked, so I personally liked business modeling because that kind of gave me a introduction to how the data science or the data engineering kind of work actually helps here, or the introduction of like when you are dealing with a lot of data, because till tomorrow everyone was more concerned about uh, loading data into data lakes, into data warehouse, and data is considered as the new oil. But now with so much amount of data, how are you going to specify the trend? How are you supposed to write the algorithm? For example, how are you gonna run the regression models tomorrow if, let's say, you are gonna start a new airport at some other area, and looking at a different airport data set, how are you gonna predict the fare model? So the logistic regression model, the neural networks, the other like techniques of which I can't exactly remember at the moment, but this was one of the interesting subject what I studied in SEM one.
Yeah. Okay. And I think third sem would be again dissertation for you.
A third sem is more like a project work, which is a group project,
Yeah.
and we are free to choose any topic, but it should be specific to something analytics. Yeah.
Okay. So that was about your course and modules. And
Yeah.
so far, how did you like the college experience? And also, how is your feeling about the level of knowledge of the faculties and how equipped they are to fulfill what students are looking for?
Okay, so telling you one thing very honestly is the course is very specified into a 12-week program in every semester.
Hmm.
Any course you wanna see. So this is sometimes very challenging and becomes very stressful because before coming here, it is kind of expected that you should have some basic idea at least about the course. It's not that you are being taught here something and then tomorrow you become a expert in that subject. So again, like two ways of understanding the course is all about. One is more like you want to score well in the assignments, do well in the examination like a student thinks. And the second way is, if you think that you have some definite interest in the course, take it slow, understand like, okay, because before coming here I didn't even know few subjects at least exist, because this data science thing was completely new for me.
Yeah.
So take understand those courses very slowly, take your own time, and then use your own skill set to upgrade in that course. For example, like I said, this business modeling course. So I know, like for a fact, that tomorrow, if I'm gonna mention it in my resume, like what I have learned in my course, I'm definitely gonna leverage more on this subject,
Hmm.
despite the fact that I might not have done a detailed study in this entire semester, because considering the timeline, and again, there are a lot of assignments which kind of keep you busy.
Yeah.
So, but again, since I have a fine interest in that subject, I would be, expressing more interest and my expertise to gain more insights from the subject. This is what I would like to tell. Yeah.
Okay. So you already mentioned some parts of how stressful it is, how it is packed in
Mhm.
12 weeks. So next we'll go to that topic wherein how busy were you during these 2 semesters? So did it leave you some time for relaxing or maybe chilling with friends or doing something from your hobby? Basically, how busy you were and how much time did it consume these 2 semesters?
Okay. Honestly speaking, so like if you are doing a MBA from a A-level college like I am in India,
Hmm.
you I mean the level of the competency what you learn there, and the amount of time and energy efforts you spend there, it is nothing compared to here. Because here, no matter how much occupied you are with the subjects, you will be busy, but you will be able to sail through smoothly.
Hmm.
Because what I see here, business analytics is one course where you can have a happy-go-lucky kind of a life, because there are two three aspects why you will get this. Because the core strength here where the students are coming is very huge in number, so you get that kind of help, that support from the people. And secondly, since this is more like the introduction of the data science, so the data science course, like the data analytics, what I've seen is very detailed. Here you don't get into the exact details, and this is like you are just trying to understand and do your part in a very smooth way. So this is more of a combination of program and theory. Okay, that is one aspect. And lastly, since especially from people from India who come here, the place is more like a, very overwhelming for them, because people are not used to, do dishes, prepare food for themselves, and also that is more like a starter kind of thing, which takes your time and energy. Plus, also the bus frequency in Ireland is not that great. So most of the time you have to, spend most of your energy walking and all. So which kind of drains your energy further. So looking at these aspects, like in India, the primary focus was like we were very competitive because the rest other things were taken care of
Yeah.
easily. But here you don't get that advantage, because of which some amount of your time will go in like your personal aspect, where you are kind of, busy getting, your meals prepared, your energy, bar raised and all.
Yeah.
But but at the same time, it's a pretty decent course, and our university also accepts people from various diverse backgrounds, not just like only technical and coding people should join. There are people from arts background, from commerce background, anyone who has a slight interest about like how data should be, about how the business can operate from the behavior of the data. Because using few tools, you have to articulate your understanding and then express yourself in that results. So your decision making ability, your critical thinking skills, those kind of play a core part. So the level of the toughness, I wouldn't say it should exceed more than 6 out of 10.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but did you mean when you were comparing your answer with IAM? So, did you mean considering all the aspects of engagement with the course, or the engagement that you have for
Yeah, so
cooking and
like I
all?
know, like, yeah, few friends of mine, few like people whom I know who have studied at IIM. So I am the, the method of study is very different. So
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow there can be a surprise test,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe in midnight you just get a mail stating that, assemble everyone in the next 15-20 minutes. There will be some rapid fire of questions, and you have to skim through a lot.
Yeah.
But here, at least, there is a clarity whenever an assignment is submitted to you.
Mm-hmm.
There are no surprise tests, and also the mode of, the approach towards study is kind of convenient, like anyone who is here. So, in that matter, I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. And okay, so this was about that. Did you also had a chance to participate in any clubs in your college, or do anything extracurricular apart from your main studies?
Yeah, of course. So we had a business analytics society. Like again, there are a lot of societies. There must be around 80, 90 societies in the college. So I was part of the business analytics society. So I was like the vice auditor of that society. And when you're a committee member in the society, along with the program director, we used to conduct a lot of activities during our entire tenure, be it like inviting some old alumni, some guest speaker, taking people for field trips, or also arranging some knowledge sessions, more like on the agile workshop and anything. So
Yeah.
it was fun because it was very engaging. It's not that you have to focus on the serious part. Also team building activities, like when you are preparing for an event and you have to represent your course, and the rest of the story, like how it
Yeah.
is when there are people involved. Like you have to also, the fun part is you also have to arrange pizzas for everyone, and pizza,
Mm.
and of course, like since our society was more of a studies oriented kind of society, because
Yeah.
the rest of the societies have some fun, like they have some dance, some video game societies, there are a lot many.
Yeah.
So in order to attract people to attend these events, you have to tell them, okay, we are getting you free pizzas and all, please
Mm.
come and attend. And some people were very genuinely interested to come also, and they also had some good, exposure when they used to interact with the personnel who were invited, like guest speakers and the external alumni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. That sounds
So,
interesting. Maybe from my perspective, also, if you say, I felt that there were here in Trinity, I think there are more than 100 societies, and
Yeah.
there is very limited time that you can spend in each of those. Maybe the bachelor students have more time, but masters leaves you with very less time to participate in those, but very interesting clubs and societies going on. I've also heard in Galway, the Indian society is quite active, and you have
Yeah, yeah. So I actually forgot to tell you. So the Indian Society and BA Society once collaborated for the movie screening of Pathan as well. So Indian society is very active, and since the course BA also has a lot of Indians,
Hmm.
so it is very easy to collaborate with the Indian society, and parallelly, if they also need any extra hands, because most of their events are during Diwali, Holi, and also Republic Day, and also the BA society members are always present to help them around. So it's and plus being part of the society is also like there was one society ball awards event as well. So in those events, though Indian society won some awards, and unfortunately we didn't win any award this time, but again you get to interact with a lot of other society members, and then you increase your connection. So
Yeah.
it's always a fun part. Yeah.
Okay. So here after this we'll move on to because we have already completed 2 semesters, so many of your batchmates would be freshers. Basically with
Yeah, it's a very
previous
diverse
experiences.
background. Yeah.
Yeah, very diverse background. So how is the job prospects looking like for them? So maybe in your experience, if you can tell us by some example, like out of 10 friends, 5 got
Mhm.
placed, or how is the general job prospects looking like?
Okay, so what I understood till now is if you are a fresher and you are looking for grad roles,
Yeah.
then the chances are quite high. High as in like you have to be an early bird.
Hmm.
The moment you come here, you should look for all opportunities and apply everywhere because the competition out there is bit on the tougher side.
Hmm.
And secondly, for experienced people like us, it's just that we have been advised that many companies want to avoid paperwork because tomorrow, if they're kind of offering you a job, so they would at least want you to be on their payroll or at least on their paper because it's more like applying for a job from India and applying here because if you want any other company to sponsor you.
Hmm.
So in that case, what happens is like in EU, they have some set of guidelines. For example, they would prefer the EU people of no, they would prefer the Irish people first, then the EU people or the stamp 4 people. If they are not able to find resources there, then they would be sponsoring people like us. Okay. For which reason we are coming under CSEP, that is Critical Skill Employment Program.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, like if you have a work permit, okay, so the chances of getting a job is higher. But once your probation is completed and you are in the record of company, then the chances of sponsorship become very easier.
Hmm.
So that justification part and all is not that tough for the companies. So to avoid paperwork, many companies may not be, entertaining to sponsor you at the moment. But
Hmm.
again, that is a very, cliche thing. If someone wants to hire you, they would definitely hire you, and you have to be very lucky and on your toes to look for those opportunities. But an ideal scenario suggests that at least once your course is over, take the letter from college, apply for your stamp 1G. Once you have the stamp 1G in your hand, you have a better prospect in finding a job.
Yeah.
And post that, it's easy to also get a sponsor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay, that was about jobs and career aspects. But so you meant the mostly the people who are looking for grad roles have got their jobs, and who have
Yeah, but again, they are
experienced.
starting from September. The
Yeah.
grad people, their jobs are starting from September. But again, the reason why they are starting also late is because they also know that they will also be applying for the stamp 1G and stuff. So grad roles are more like the company will be investing in you,
Yeah.
providing you training and stuff, and then
Hmm.
again you'll be
Yeah.
starting a course. For 2 years, you are kind of locked with the company. I
Okay.
don't know about the bonds and stuff. It depends from company to company, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
experienced people may not take that because of the salary prospects and everything, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So next we'll move to the Galway city itself. I have never been to
Yeah.
Galway. Maybe I'll have maybe sometime I'll visit, but I have heard it's a quite beautiful city. So how was
Yeah.
your experience, the city-wise experience in Galway, and
Galway
also,
is,
yeah.
yeah, it has been very pleasant and very warm and welcoming. Because when I reach Dublin, I find Dublin to be more of a hustle and it's a bit fast paced and all. But again, I wouldn't say that from an experience where I've spent around 2 days or 3 days there. But since I've spent quite a lot of time here in Galway, the people are here very friendly, very accommodating, and the place is also very beautiful. You have beaches here, and the famous song Galway Girl. If you just look
Mm.
through the video, that kind of gives you an entire glimpse of the city itself. And there are a lot of pubs, and of course, the place is mostly, Galway itself means land of foreigners. And when you see the city itself, it is kind of dominated by a lot of students and young crowd. Plus, there are older people as well, but again, and since it's a very small city, as in not by area, everyone knows each other. Everyone knows like what all events are happening, and also it's a mix of both things. You kind of get that countryside feeling here, plus you also get those city vibes. Like everything will be available here, not
Mhm.
that everything is not available. And yeah, so.
And how was the expenses if you compare maybe to nearby cities?
Expenses, yeah. So expenses, it's like, of course, it is a bit cheaper than Dublin, but again, the places that I'm staying, for example, I'm staying in a student accommodation at the moment, so the prices are at similar at Dublin because
Okay.
the student accommodation, they are more like UK based companies who have kind of
Mhm.
franchises and running across Cork, Dublin, Galway, so the prices don't much vary there.
Mhm.
But again, if I speak about the house rent, then of course, like you can get the houses lesser than the price of Dublin, like at least more like 200 to 300 euros difference you get there.
Mhm.
And accommodation is definitely a issue here.
Yeah.
But again, at the same time, but if you look anything with all your energy and dedication, you definitely find a place. Because I haven't seen anyone, like none of my Indian friends or anyone so far in the college, not
Mm.
finding a place and struggling.
Okay.
It's just that it might have taken time for them, but again, everyone has found a place.
So,
Yeah.
and what is the mode of search? Do they also search on Daft.ie, or how is that?
Yeah, so initially when we came here, so NUIG's accommodation office was very helpful.
Mm.
They kind of gave us a lot of leads and also spoke to landowners on behalf of students and all. And Daft.ie, I haven't been that successful. And again, we have a NUIG student pad
Mhm.
that kind of helps you with the ads and everything, where owners and trusted people kind of put their ads and students get a reference. And Facebook also has been very helpful at the same time. And yeah, once you are here, you make your connections and network, few groups on WhatsApp as well. Those also give you some leads.
So we'll move to the last section of the meeting, and the last point is tips to newcomers. So, any tips that particularly you would like to give to people who are considering Galway as their option, or Ireland in general? What would you say? So you can speak from many perspectives, maybe from it, what the courses are like, how the colleges are, how the place is, basically, what your way, yeah.
Yeah, so people who are coming to Ireland just thinking that, okay, the course fees here are very cheaper as compared to other nations. Let me specify that, okay, this is not the only thing because the cost of living is actually high here.
Yeah.
If you compare any other place, the cost of living in Dublin or in any other city in Ireland is at par with London
Mhm.
and UK. And secondly, to people coming here, come with an open mind. So mostly the way we are always told that the life outside is very beautiful. So there is a saying which most of us know: the grass always looks greener on the other side.
Yeah.
So yeah, you will have your own bunch of struggles, and maybe you will take some time to get acquainted with the culture, with the place. And there might be instances when you actually want to miss India a lot on a lot of things, because things are actually very different here.
Yeah.
And so be prepared on that. For example, like I said, if you don't know cooking, at least try to learn the basic, things, how to prepare some food and all.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that if you end up spending outside, which will be very expensive, and you won't like it as well, because it is not the value of money what you get outside, and
Yeah.
the options also kind of deplete when you start eating outside.
Yeah.
Secondly, since people here are more accustomed to walk a lot, every bus stop is like 500 meters apart, and sometimes on weekends the buses don't come in frequency. For example, the frequency of a bus is in every 30 minutes. On weekends you don't see that buses coming on every 30 minutes also. So the time you wait at the bus stop, you'd rather think, okay, if it's like 2 3 kilometers, I would rather walk. So you have to build that mental thing in your mind. And at the same time, people are very in a very happy mood here. For example, they are laid back. In India, you will see everyone is in a hustle.
Mm.
People, you will see struggling a lot. Everyone is very competitive in a very serious note. But here, for example, if you are doing any part time, if you are late to your part time by 15 20 minutes, so they don't actually get on your nerves and all, telling
Mm.
you that, okay, why are you late and all. They understand that human touch is very evident here. This is something good about the place. And lastly, initially, like when you come here, you start taking that calculator in your mind. Like whenever you see any price in euros, you
Yeah.
tend to calculate into INR everything.
Yeah.
But eventually, after one stage, like maybe after 15 20 days, you will start getting used to it. It's like, okay, if it's like within 5 years, it's still cheaper.
Mm.
And this is what you're signed for. So you have to be a bit smart on that. And yeah, so if you can stay in India, and again, like because in India also we change a lot of cities wherever our job takes us. So it will be pretty much the same here. It's just that you will have a very positive atmosphere. Then air quality index is very good. There are
Yeah.
no noise pollution also. And there can be some instances where there will be some category of people, which I think will be there in every place, where they tend to make fun of you, or you may feel that, okay, they are gonna not exactly attack or any racial discrimination, I would say. It's like, okay, some category of people or antisocials are there everywhere,
Yeah.
so be careful from them. And yeah, just it's gonna be a very lovely year, and the experience will change your approach towards life. And you can also think, okay, here is also one approach what I never thought, okay, life can also be lived like this. So that's what I can suggest everyone.
Thank you, Anshuman. So, you covered we started with your introduction, your course modules, your experience in college. You also covered what societies there are and how the life generally here is, how the job prospects are. You also touched upon very detailed points of how newcomers should be thinking before coming here. So, I really believe this video would be very helpful for people who are considering Ireland or the colleges here as an option, and also considering you had a very rich experience. So coming from a person like you who has a lot of work experience, I respect you a lot for that. And people who are listening to you will give equal weightage to what tips you have given and what your experience has been. So really thank you for coming today, and yeah, thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure, Abhinav, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. And in case, like, if anyone finds this thing helpful and want to reach out to me, I'm always available on LinkedIn, and I would definitely be responding to your messages. So feel free to connect with me.
Yeah, so
Sure.
I will mention your LinkedIn URL in the video description so they can reach out to you in case needed. Yeah.
Cool. That
Okay.
helps.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
you again. Bye bye.
Thank you, Abhinav. See you. Bye.